Everybody, what I'm about to break down to you has to be despicable in my point of view, in my opinion. Let me just let you know that I did some research on this, and I just I want to shout out to a brother by the name of Gentleman. It's a brother on YouTube who's been going hard on this story as well, and these so-called friends, white friends, so-called friends of Nolan Wells, have decided to create a GoFundMe. Believe it or not, look at it on the board right now, look at it on the screen, should I say. They're looking at a $100,000 that they're trying to earn here. Now, let me correct myself. It's not technically GoFundMe, but it's Give, Send, and Go. It's the new one, Give, Send, and Go. Ladies and gentlemen, when Carmelo Anthony's family was trying to raise money, they took all type of criticism, all type of hell. And now Nolan Wells family, let me put that on the screen for you as well. They have a Give, Send, and Go, a legitimate one. And they took some criticism for that. Now we know that they're getting some help from the likes of Tyler Perry, Kaepernick, individuals like that that have donated money towards the autopsy, donated money towards the funeral, that being Tyler Perry, right? But it seems that when black people are going through a tragedy or going through something, they take criticism. But this takes the cake. These so-called friends who did not show up to Nolan Wells' funeral to pay their respects, who did not have the decency to not text the family, but to go to them physically and give the mother, Christina, a hug, Elmo, the stepfather, a hug, a shake, a condolence. None of these kids went to them physically. They wanted to go into this impersonal thing called texting, so they claim that they text them. And this is all being put out there to change for the narrative that's been pushed by Brandon Tatum, who I already exposed on this channel, and many other people have exposed him for lying.
It's not a traditional lie detector test, but it's the same theology of trying to get to if a person is lying. I don't know the name of it. It's an equivalent of a lie detector test. It's a different methodology. Yeah, I don't believe it was a polygraph test. I believe they took other stressors.
That these kids took a polygraph test. No, they didn't. They took a CIT, which is a concealed information test, which tests your audio, your voice when you're speaking, your stress levels to see whether you're telling the truth about something. But guess what? The CIT test that Brandon Tatum said, oh, well, I really don't know what they took, but I know it's something close to a polygraph, as he was bugging his eyes. Both the polygraph test and the CIT can't be used in court. So I've already talked about that in the other video. But in this video today, his friends, his so-called friends, I don't call them real friends because they didn't show up to the funeral, are trying to capitalize and grift. They're claiming that everybody else is grifting off of the situation and that people are harassing them on social media. And I'm wondering, well, wait a minute, didn't they were supposed to have shut down all their social media, but they're saying that that they're being inundated. And as a result, they need to develop a defense fund. Now, a lawyer for that guy named Bart claimed that he's going to start filing suits against people for defamation. Well, let me read here to you because I want to be correct. Let me give you the breakdown. Check this out. Here's the breakdown. The campaign titled Stand with Nolan Well Tragic Friends was launched on August the 1st, 2026 to raise money for the legal defamation lawsuit of Warren Hudson. We know Warren Hudson was the one who was on there on the podcast with Brandon Tatum, right? With Brandon Tatum. And didn't show no emotions, didn't cry, even took him out to the island where he did not cry, showed no emotions whatsoever. I don't know how you can call these people friends. Let me continue reading this right here. This is terrible. Okay, so you've got Warren Hudson, as I mentioned before. You've got Jax, we've heard that name. And we got another guy by the name Morgan. So these are the so-called folks that call themselves being his friend. And I've said this before, if you got friends like that, I don't want enemies, friends that won't show up for your funeral to console your mother. Then you had this guy, I'm going to bring up the other guy, Trish Shepard, who claimed he's a best friend. You know what's crazy about this? All these people are claiming to be his best friend, but yet they use a GoFundMe or a GiveSendGo, should I correct myself, a GiveSendGo. They're capitalizing off of the death of Nolan Wells by saying this, stand with Nolan Wells' tragic targeted friends. Stand with them and they haven't done anything for the family? Why? Let me just break this down to you. Why is this GiveSendGo fundraiser, why are they not raising money for the family? Shouldn't they be? If they were truly a friend of Nolan Wells, they would be sending or putting together a fund for Nolan Wells. But no, they're putting it together for themselves. Everything about this situation has been suspicious. We've been talking about this. Let me go deeper into, I'm going to read you some of the details of their GiveSendGo. So right up here on the board, I'm going to put up here. So once again, I got to repeat this. Stand with Nolan Wells, targeted friends. This is crazy that these guys, these kids, these dudes who went to Horn Island with Nolan Wells, they all make it back home. He doesn't make it back. We're getting all type of conflicting information on their stories. They've been riding with the story about a girl that he supposedly, Katie, I think is her name, he supposedly stay on the island and talk to or to spend time with. She's saying that she didn't even really spend time with him. She saw him through passing. Everyone keeps claiming when they saw Nolan Wells, but nobody witnessed the tragedy of his death. I find that highly suspicious, right? And then they all go home and they hold on to his keys, his cell phone, and do not make the effort to go physically to his parents' home to return it. They had to send someone out to get it from them, and that became sort of a chore in itself. Now, on their GoFundMe, as you can see right here, they're talking about on Independence Day weekend 2026. And what I did is I highlighted some of the key words and phrases that I want to keep keen on this in your mind as I say this. They said right here, lost their best friend Nolan Wells. All right? No family should have to endure the pain of losing a son. This is on they're using what happened to Nolan Wells to get sympathy because they're saying that people are calling them out, harassing them, and what have you. And so now they want to use Nolan Wells' memory to sort of get some sympathy put on their side because this is all about changing narratives, right? Now they go on to say this, unprecedented online campaign, right? Accusations, harassment, threats, and defamation. This is what they're talking about. This is Warren Hudson, who gave that interview, as I said before, to the Buck Dancer, Tatum, Jax, Morgan. Okay, they've been inundated with death threats of violence, defamation, falsely, wrongly blamed by individuals online in the media, either directly or indirectly having had Nolan's death. Most of them could not even attend their own best friend's funeral. Why? Because race baiters sent a... When they talk about race baiters, they're talking about Attorney Crump, Benjamin Crump. Look. We all have had problems with Crump, right? People believe he's an ambulance chaser. But the bottom line is, if you're not guilty, then why would you feel uncomfortable with who they chose to pick as an attorney? See, guilty people don't go through all this trouble of now using their so-called friend's memory to create a GoFundMe or create a GiveSendGo, because that's what it is, with the goal of getting $100,000. And what they've been able to do so far, the last time I checked this, they're already at $24,884. That means that people are giving them money. That's the last time I checked. It might be higher than that now. Now let me put this clip up for you. Since the beginning of the investigation, these young men have cooperated with authorities, turning over all information they had. Overwhelming number of witnesses, right? Speaking up publicly. Baseless allegations. This is what their lawyer is saying, because let me put this back up here again on their GiveSendGo. This was created by Benjamin Hudson, if I'm saying his name correct. Okay, foundation funds will be received by Taylor and Cox Law Firm, PA. So people kept telling us that, oh, you guys are exaggerating. These kids didn't lawyer up. They lawyered up very quickly after this whole thing happened. And now they're trying to, in my opinion, grift, use the circumstances that they're in to grift and get money in the name of, we're going to now put out suits against people. People are asking questions. People want answers. The family wants answers, and they can't even get proper answers. Now, I put this back up here. The truth doesn't matter. This is some of the things I highlighted that they're saying in their GiveSendGo fundraiser. Okay? The truth doesn't matter. Large voices across social media declare them guilty of crimes they could not have committed and have never been charged. The names, faces that spread across the internet, thousands of hateful messages, death threats, call for violence, threatened online and in person. Now we know that they now arrested one person who made threats. One person. They haven't arrested tons of people. People are giving their opinions about what they believe is allegedly going on in the case. Because once again, this doesn't vote well for them to jump out the window, create a fundraiser that benefits them, and then use the name of Nolan Wells, saying stand with Nolan Wells' targeted friends. The very friends who didn't have the decency to show up because they claimed they were scared. Oh, they claimed this and that. If you're a real friend of somebody, you're going to show up. And you're going to also show up after the incident happened, before the funeral, and you're going to explain yourself to the family. Everybody said, oh, you guys are exaggerating. They didn't lawyer up. Yes, they did. Now, coming back to this, in the highlights that I have on this, you've got thousands of hateful messages that they said. Lives have been turned upside down, and some have had to go into hiding. Unusual suspects, national news media, and local provocateurs continue to invent and spread false narratives. Okay, what about what the family is going through right now? How about his mother and father and friends and his real friends? Like my man Jelani Williams, his brother, who went to the funeral. What about the people who really been crying over him? Last time I checked, Christina and Nolan Wells' family has been getting death threats as well, and harassment. People are harassing them about their fundraiser. Why is it that none of these kids are talking about the fact they're all talking about what they are saying is happening to them allegedly? But I don't hear anything in this funding, this fundraiser that they're trying to get $100,000 out of people. You don't hear anything in this of them saying, hey, please put Nolan Wells' mother and father and family in your prayers. They're also being harassed, so we now want to raise money for them as well. You don't see that any of this in this campaign that they're trying to gain money from. Okay, let me put this up too. This is another piece of what's in their Give, Send, and Go. Under the they're claiming that they're seeking justice, painfully clear, striving, they're talking about striving divisions, ruining lives, should I say. Leaving money is dried up. So now they're claiming that they don't have money. Wait a minute. If you are not a guilty person, you have committed no crimes. how can your money be drying up if you are an innocent person? And so for them to say that, that tells you right there that they had lawyered up from the very, very beginning. Because we know lawyers cost money. So I find that interesting. The legal system exists for a reason, evidence belongs in the hands of law enforcement in the courts. Online mob campaigns fueled by rumors, edited clips, edited audio, speculation, and misinformation. So you know why they said that, because you had Sister Jeanette, who went out and she started to put that audio together that people have been talking about. And I want to say this too, because I heard my brother Gentleman talk about this. Nancy Grace, should I say, who, I got to be honest, she did expose Brandon Tatum. She has yet to invite Jeanette on her show, the woman who actually put that audio together that she's been using on her show. And I have to be honest about that. Sometimes white folks on social media who come off like they are supporting a situation that involves a black person, you have to look at them with a side eye too, because they have an agenda as well. I just got to keep, and Neely Fuller Jr. told us that white supremacists, not that they're supreme over us, but white supremacists just in general, tend to take all arguments on the left side and the right. I just want y'all to be aware of that I find it interesting that she has refused or has not made the effort to get the sister on her show, since she's the one who actually put that together that she's playing. Now, they go on to say this in their Give, Send, and Go, raising money to defend these friends against incoming wrongful death action filed by attorney Ben Crump and his team. You know what really trips me out is that they're really pissed off at the fact that Ben Crump and certain people are involved. They're really pissed off because they don't like the fact that Ben Crump, whether you like him or you love him, has stoked a certain nerve in this community, which is the underbelly of racism, because it's always there. And I'm sick and tired of people saying that race doesn't exist in this country, or race isn't in it, or whatever. America, I'm going to say this again, America was built on race. America was fought by race. America is racist at its very core. You can look through history of how certain people of this color that I have on my skin, on my face, how we are treated versus other people. I said this before, if Nolan Wells was a white kid on a boat with nothing but black kids, never came home, you will have the same people that are telling us to stop saying it's about race that would be making it about race, meaning they would be saying these black kids must have did something to this white boy, because you know the reputation of black males, they're dangerous. We see it every night on our news where they paint us out to be dangerous, to be monsters. We've been stereotyped in this country since the very beginning and continue to be. Race always matters. And people who say it don't, you have to look at them with a side eye. And that's just a fact. So they have to be the most despicable, to the dirt, to the belly of a snake, to set up here, use Nolan Wells Name in their fundraiser to earn $100,000, which they claim is for their legal defense fund. They want to lean on using his name, can't stand on their own name, haven't raised a dime for the family. Now, let me play this clip right here, because this guy, Trish Shepard, who the family says they've never met him, don't know him, who claims to be another best friend, man. How many of these guys gonna come out and say they're a best friend? Who gives that interview with Brandon Buck Dancing Tatum and talked about when see this was happening. Brandon Tatum is interjecting or interloop. He's an interlooper. He's trying to stir up the pot just as much as he's claiming that Ben Crump and other people are stirring up the pot. He stirs up the pot by asking this kid, what do you think about Ben Crump? Don't you think he's creating racial division?
You think Benjamin Crump being involved in this case made it better or worse?
100,000 times % worse. Because why on the Tuesday after where has your civil rights been broken? Where has it been shown? You brought Benjamin Crump to stir up a community that's already tight-knit. Yeah, we might not be best friends with everybody, but I promise, if you're talking about Ocean Springs as a whole, Ocean Springs is going to have Ocean Springs back, 110%. We back each other. Everybody I've seen, we back each other. And for them to push this narrative and really push it, just shows me is like you have no idea who you're dealing with or who you're messing with.
And then this kid sits up here and says, well, what civil rights have been violated? A lot of civil rights have been violated. That's why you get a civil rights attorney, because there are civil rights of the Nolan Well family, Nolan Well and his family. There could be certain civil rights that have been violated as it relates to how the sheriff's department in Jackson County, Mississippi, are handling this case. First of all, example A, when the sheriff said that he did not think it was foul play from the very beginning without even examining the body, no autopsy, he already jumped out of the box and said that right there is an example of why you would need a civil rights attorney to make sure that everything is being handled properly in the way this case. Remember, we keep forgetting, folks, why these suckers are using Nolan Wells' name to gain money and revenue off of his name through a fundraiser, should I say, of GiveSendGo. While they're doing that, the family has yet to get vital information from the DA or from this sheriff's department. They're still looking. Now, what I'm hearing now is that the grand jury is ready. They've already closed out their autopsy. They're ready to do something with this, and the family is already requesting to meet with the grand jury before they have any kind of press conference. So I find that very interesting. We're going to see what comes out of that situation. But this whole thing is crazy. Should have never happened to Nolan Wells. But y'all share this video on all your social media. Share it in your community tab if you're a content creator. Let people know about the channel. Thank you to all new subscribers to the channel. I appreciate you all. Gonna keep making these videos. But check this out, everybody. They had the audacity to make a GiveSendGo to generate money. And every time black folks have some type of fundraiser, everybody is calling us everything but a child of God. Everyone is saying, y'all grifters, y'all ripping off. And here they are using Nolan's situation to grift to gain money for their legal defense fund towards what they call the people that's hating on them. And then I gotta say again as I end this, do innocent people do this sort of stuff? Do innocent people come up with their own fundraisers? Do innocent people need to raise all this money for legal defense if they're not guilty of anything? As people, I'm going to repeat this again, as people said to us to be quiet because these kids didn't lawyer up. Y'all don't know what you're talking about. Yes, they did from the very beginning. You let me know. It's a damn shame when people can stoop this low. They're trying to raise money off of Nolan Wells' name and have it in the title. Once more, here it is. Stand with Nolan Wells, targeted friends. How about stand with Nolan Wells' family? Because we're trying to earn money for the family. How about we're trying to earn money to create a Nolan Wells Foundation in the name of our best friend? You see what I mean, everybody? They're not doing none of that. This is the Information Man Show. Y'all take care. Tell someone you love them. This is, as I always say, a damn shame.
She my white horse, she my medical. She like my baby mama, know how to take care of me. Give my baby problems, you gon' regret every day. So I let her know, gotta let her know. Came through the front door, I'll be ready for her. And if it's what you want, I'ma give it to you. Yeah, promise, I'ma give it to you. Like, la, 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 la. Feel it, baby, stress is all around us. These high ceilings and I need it, baby. Pressure and make diamonds, I won't steal it, baby. Silent, baby, hurts to see you crying. Know you trying, ain't no lying, baby. When I say I need you, greedy if I have to share you. It was me that all along did you wrong, thinking that I made you beautiful and strong. This toxicity, the death of me, I fear the day you gone. The most beautiful girl I've ever known.